Make room for Javi.
Welcome to my Project a Day video, where I explain a project or tell a story each day for a year, and I attempt to complete my shop. Today's story is about my altar boy days. Growing up Catholic in a Catholic grade school was a fascinating time for me. Our school had 11 nuns of the sect of the Sisters of the Holy Family of Nazareth. Starting off with Sister Mary Ann in first grade, I got my share of knuckle whacks with a ruler, as well as shouts for talking out of turn many, many times. In the third grade, I joined the altar boys, and I was quite active throughout my youth. Even up until college, I was an altar server, if you can believe that. I was always close to the priests, and no, I never saw anything but kind respect and wholesome values in our community. While I don't doubt that many had bad apples elsewhere, we had a very good and wholly religious crop. In the sixth grade, the priest in charge of the altar boys developed a point system. While we all received our schedules, we could substitute in other masses and we'd receive more points. Early and late masses were more points than easy to get to masses. Each week, the top altar boys were posted, and I was often in the top 5. In my 7th grade, I would volunteer to change out the candles in the church. Allow me to explain. We had a number of racks of 2 types of candles that the community would light when offering prayers. We had the large red candles that asked for $1 to light, and the small votive candles for $0.25. They were like tea lights. Now, these were strictly volunteer donations, but everybody understood that if you want to light a candle, you donate. No reason not to. The parishioners would come in, donate money in the collection box, light their candles, and make their devotions. We had 8 masses on Sunday and 3 vigil masses on Saturday. Between each mass, I would go out, pull out all the spent candles, and replace them with all new ones. It was quite fun for me, and I would often serve a mass or 2 in between candle swappings. There were a few months where I decided to serve all 11 masses in a row. I had racked up the points and had a great time back then. I never had thoughts about being a priest, but I was always asked about it. My innocent, childlike response back then was, no, because I like girls. What I meant to say was that one day I looked forward to having a family, but what was said was said. By the time I got to the 8th grade, I was chosen as the head altar boy with all its duties, responsibilities, and privileges. I was in charge of scheduling as well as passing out the new training for all the altar boys in the school. Once a week, I would hold a meeting and pull out all the altar boys an hour early from their classes. With 6 grades times 2 classes times about 10 altar boys per class, it turns out that we ended up having a lot more altar boys than we needed, so the priest in charge came up with a set of study sheets and tests that altar boys would have to pass in order to remain as altar boys. The test consisted of knowing all the prayers and responses for the parts of the Mass, as well as the names of all the items we worked with, from the alb, cincture, and all the different parts of the priest's robes, to the ciborium, corporal, crucifix, bells, monstrance, holy water font, etc. I was tested first, and I aced the test, so I was chosen to administer the test to the rest of the altar boys. I was quite taken by my so-called position of power, and it felt a bit authoritarian, but then again, we're talking about the Catholic Church here. I continued to serve throughout high school and then moving on to college. In 1983, when our church got a new pastor, we changed the vestments of the altar boys. We went from cassocks and surplices to robes. White robes for the 3rd through 8th graders, red robes for the high school servers, and I got the blue robe as lead altar server. The following year, a fellow altar server who served under me was in a car accident with a drunk driver, and he was taken from this life far too soon. In his memory, I was given the Altar Server of the Year medal, which is now tied to my blue robe. One server each year would add to that exclusive group and receive the medal and the blue robe on January 1st, in remembrance of that faithful night. That tradition, along with a good amount of my religious zeal, has long since passed, but I always considered it an honor, as well as a wonderful time in my life. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment. I enjoy reading them, particularly when they're pleasant. Please subscribe, and as always, have a great day.
Make room for Javi.